hello, how are you? Okay, now today we decided that it would be pointless to talk about anything else until we discuss in some sort of detail the events of the past 2 days, namely the bloody standoff between Pakistani military and terrorists at PNS Mehran in Karachi. You can call our efforts a catharsis if you like, but we feel it is important to have a clear picture in your mind of what just happened and maybe try to make some sense of it. Joining us this morning is a familiar face on TMS, Raza Rumi. Raza is a consulting editor of the Friday Times and also contributes to our very own Express Tribune. Hello Raza, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning.
Raza, please tell us what is going on in Karachi, and also because one would have expected the Pakistan Navy at least to be on guard now, especially after having suffered 3 attacks in the last month.
Yes, I think one did expect that that after the recent attacks, and also in the past there have been many attacks on the Navy, that our Navy would have stepped up its defenses, and as we now find out that there were 1100 people on duty to protect that base. And despite that, this handful of terrorists, and now Mr. Rahman Malik says there were only 4 of them.
Exactly, and 2 got away as well.
And 2 got away, imagine. I mean, so not only that they entered from 3 different routes, they also went inside, they destroyed 2 very expensive aircraft, which we had, which were purchased by Pakistani taxpayers'
and
money.
just last year, they were delivered to us in June.
In June,
those Orion aircraft.
Yeah, exactly. And they're very state-of-the-art and very important for our defense forces. So what has happened is that it's number one, a very, very shocking incident that anybody can enter and breach the security of such heavily guarded bases. I mean, you must have passed on Shara Faisal. I was there just a couple of days ago. And it's a very, it's like a fortress. You can't enter, and it's amazing how they found their way through the either
through a nala or something. That's what I was reading.
At the back of the base.
But Raza, now what do you make of it? We can sit here, we can talk about it all we want, but it seems like, God forbid, next week we'll be doing the same. Isn't there any stopping it, curtailing it? I mean, when we say that we are on high alert, and the roads in Lahore, if you see now, this happened in Karachi, and yesterday you had to see the nakas here in Lahore. You were stuck in lines for hours. The point is, what are we doing? What is high security alert? Does it mean anything?
It does not mean anything in Pakistan, unfortunately, because the state of our law enforcement institution is so weak. I mean, especially the police, the intelligence agencies, they barely know what is happening. I mean, don't forget that Mr. Laden was hiding in Abbottabad for so long, and our official position is that we did not know.
Absolutely.
And it's an intelligence failure of not only Pakistan but the world.
It's embarrassing.
It is very, very embarrassing. So what happened? Okay, the army and ISI did not know about Bin Laden, or for that matter this attack. But what about the police, the special branch, the rangers? I mean, there are all sorts of agencies who get all these salaries. There are huge number of employees, but they don't do the function. So, this Karachi incident, PNS Mehran is a huge security lapse. And, and I was very surprised to hear the senior officials of the Pakistan Navy saying, no, it is not a security lapse, and
exactly, I heard the same.
And they just almost, they almost made a fool of themselves and us all by saying that, at least admit that there were some breaches or there were some...
The point, Raza, is when they say and they vehemently deny that this was a security lapse, should we think that it was an inside job? I mean, then there are only 2 ways about it. Either we'll think that somebody came from outside or somebody came from inside.
Yeah, Huma, I think we need to also understand that after Bin Laden's, murder by the Americans through that very surgical operation, Al-Qaeda has mounted the level of terrorist incidents. If you look at how those young 80 cadets were killed, in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, how so many other checkposts have been blown, how so much of terrorism is now being perpetrated by Al-Qaeda, because we have to be very clear, and unfortunately our security establishment and our politicians are not very united on fighting Al-Qaeda. some of them are still dilly-dallying, thinking it's an Indian conspiracy, it's a US conspiracy,
absolutely.
it's a Jewish conspiracy, but they're not looking at the fact that Al-Qaeda is a danger spread all over Pakistan.
Right.
And we are seeing in the past few weeks how they have stepped up. Yesterday, a bridge was also blown up on the motorway.
Exactly,
Islamabad to
Islamabad, Peshawar.
So imagine what a vital link it is. Now we don't know who blew it. Some are saying it's a local uprising, but the fact that they can go and strike.
And do it.
Yes. So that's number one. I think we need to be very clear on the fact that there is a loose. Al-Qaeda is not a big organization. They're maybe at best a couple of hundred or 1,000 people, but they have entered into partnerships with local groups like Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, militant outfits, sectarian outfits, all these Lashkars and Jaishes and this and that.
But then that makes it a little bigger.
Yes,
it does.
yes.
And also, of course, that also makes it possible for them to penetrate anywhere they want.
Absolutely, and they have money. WikiLeaks have shown that UAE and Saudi Arabia have been financing militancy and madrasas in Pakistan because the rich in the Gulf states think that perhaps they will contribute to the Islamic charity, and some also accuse that those governments are silent and allow this money to take place. Now it's a lot of money, $100 million, in one cable, and there's so much money coming in. So and money has a power in a poor country like Pakistan. So I think that's the first issue. Then the second one, very rightly you said about the inside job.
Yeah.
There have been ample signs of radicalization within the Pakistan Air Force. If you remember General Musharraf's, there was a plot to assassinate him.
Quite a few times.
Quite a few times, and one of the major ones was by these former PAF officials who were also being tried. And then there were many other reports. These small reports.
So basically, what you are saying is that this is something that needs to be looked into, because
thoroughly.
Every time this is raised, I've seen it on TV in a lot of talk shows. Every time it is raised, it is vehemently denied, as if this is a place that nobody will even go into, that it could be an inside thing. But anyway, we won't speculate on that. Now, rightly so, the world is obviously following what is happening in Pakistan. Pakistan is suddenly, or has been for a while, center stage with all the bad news coming out of here. But the point is, if they question the safety of our nuclear weapons, are they right to question it?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I'm not I don't have information on that, and I'm not a nuclear safety expert, but I can say that I think we have a very good command and control system, and I think the Pakistan Army has ensured their safety to a very high degree. Now, after these recent incidents, one is obviously doubtful.
Yeah.
But I think those are two different things, because this is a big base. It's on Shara Faisal in Karachi. It's very public, and then it is it's a huge undertaking. I'm sure wherever the nuclear facilities are, they're very secret, very clandestine. They're very very small, and they're tightly managed. I hope that all such doubts are wrong. But I think what this incident has happened is that it has given our traditional rivals like India, for example, who were flashing this nuclear story yesterday all across.
Absolutely, yes.
Even I was interviewed by one of the channels, and that was the first or second question. They said that it's an embarrassment, and don't you think that your nukes are unsafe? But I think it's an exaggeration. I don't think we face the prospect of.
Or maybe in a sense, I feel that we are so busy trying to protect the nukes that we are, I don't know, I could be wrong, but we are really laxing in our, securing other places.
I think now there's a larger issue, because what we have done is that we have all of us, 180 million people, the armed forces have devoted ourselves to build and protect the nukes. And as a result, what is happening is that we have this whole war on terror, we have poverty, we have illiteracy, lack of education, and we are just obsessed with the nukes. Now, if you remember that last year there were devastating floods, and we were begging from the world, please give us money, give us charity, this and that. And even now there was a news report that 500 million we are short of the rehabilitation expense. But at the same time, this news has also come up that we have expanded our arsenal. We have 110 nuclear, weapons, and it's growing, and we're also building a fourth reactor. So the question really is, who are these nukes for? Are these nukes leading to the betterment of Pakistani poor? Are they giving them water, sanitation,
They are not, I'm
roads?
sorry, but they are not even doing the job that they should be doing, which is deterrence. They are not. Because anybody and everybody, as we have seen, comes and, I mean, look at the Americans. They came, they took Osama, killed him, whatever. Look at what happened yesterday in Karachi. Deterrence is not playing a role anymore. Very briefly, final question to you. What do you make of President Obama's recent statement to BBC, which he made, that if there was a high value target in Pakistan, in this region again, he would again do it, give the orders to get in and get him?
I think it's a very unfortunate statement. I think President Obama should not have said such a thing after Pakistan reacted so badly, and our parliament passed a joint resolution saying please don't violate our airspace. I think President Obama should have exercised more caution and diplomacy, but let's not forget that Mr. Obama is also a politician. He faces the election in a year's time. He's also playing to a domestic gallery. First of all, he's become a hero
I get
by
that,
pulling
Raza.
out OBL.
Exactly, Raza, I get that. But the point is, he's a politician and we are not. We don't have politicians
Yeah,
here. Now the world is waiting for Pakistan to react to this statement by Obama.
Yeah.
And we have had absolutely no statement, no reaction coming out from
because
our
Huma,
quarters.
I'll tell you why. The reason is, if you remember that after this OBL strike was took place, and there was all this issue about our intelligence failure, security failure. We did not know the radar did not work. Someone was sleeping. Mr. General A was sleeping. General B woke up. All these kahanis have come up, and we are still trying to make sense. But afterwards, a story also came in the Guardian by Declan Walsh, in which he said that under General Musharraf, there was an agreement with the Americans that if they discovered or spotted high-value Al-Qaeda targets like Mr. Bin Laden, they would come and pull that person out or capture that person. Okay, I think, of course, Rahman Malik has denied that, but denial is not enough. General Musharraf has also gone to some court and filed a suit against the Guardian paper. But the real question is that whatever is happening on these Al-Qaeda front and even on the drone strikes, as the WikiLeaks show, happens without consent.
Absolutely.
So that is why there is very muted reaction to Obama's statement, because somewhere along the line, because we get so much aid from them, and let's not forget the Pakistan military gets, in the last 10 years, about 15 to 16 billion dollars.
I'm sorry, Raza, but then it's all playing in the hands of a few people, a few policymakers. I mean, then let's not talk about the people or the janta, the masses of Pakistan at large.
But that's why the parliament has to oversee the defense budget, or at least start towards that. I think it will suit the generals also. They will also earn credibility and legitimacy. It is in their
Raza,
own
we
interest.
sit here, we say that, we always hope that this would happen, but somehow, somewhere there is a blockage, and it seems that the people, the decision makers are not listening.
I tell you, the blockage is that our politicians lack the vision, the long-term vision. They are divided. So you must have noticed that PPP historically has been, anti-army in the Sindh, etc., anti-establishment. Today they are the biggest defenders of the army and the ISI. And to the extent that one of the PPP leaders in the Punjab has attacked Mian Nawaz Sharif, who's taking a hard line as a CIA and a raw agent. Just because he was
we can expect them to
about
do that, Raza. This is another conversation we will have some other time. Thank you so much. We are short on time. Thank you so much. And again, catharsis, basically. You have to really talk about it. We are going to take a very short break and we'll be right back.